The AI Goldmine. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. I want to talk about prospering with artificial intelligence. A couple of different approaches to doing that. And the main point will be developing artificial intelligence tools that have staying power, and being able to have full life cycle software development in one day. When I was getting started as a software engineer in Silicon Valley, software development cycles were measured in months. And you can create AI agents in a matter of days or even as little as one day, and have a working product. So the life cycle of developing useful tools, software-based tools, the life cycle has shortened immensely. There's a couple of different ways to get benefit from that. One is, I wouldn't say useless, but one approach is sort of useless, and another approach could be financially beneficial if you know what you're doing. So here's a hypothetical example of full lifecycle development of an AI tool. Voice input, you describe the workings of the tool. Code generation, check the tool to see if it's doing what you wanted initially, and provide more voice input to fix any issues. This is sort of like a debugging or bug fixing stage. And then loop through 2 and 3 until you have the perfect tool. So this could be in an hour or two, maybe, or a day, depending on the complexity of the tool. If you have if you have a tool that's going to consist of multiple different parts, it could be a few days. But that's kind of what the best, you'd have voice input. It would have to be LLM based, because when you're working with natural language and unstructured data, that generally means you're using a large language model. So you would provide voice input, describe what the tool will do, allow code generation to occur, check to see if it's running the way you wanted it to, and fix any issues with more voice input, and then just loop until you have a working AI tool, an AI agent. Enterprise AI tools have staying power. Okay, so I want to make the distinction now between the two different ways to approach developing AI tools, okay? Using AI agents as sort of the model. AI agents are sort of standalone artificial intelligence tools. That doesn't necessarily mean they don't require a large language model for voice, for natural language processing. They may not. But in general, an artificial intelligence tool, you can sort of think of it as a computer program that is autonomous. Okay, but I'll get to that in a couple seconds. First, I want to compare these two approaches to developing AI tools: the mass market approach, the open ecosystem, and then the closed ecosystem. So what do I mean by mass market open ecosystem? Okay, so right now, everyone who is aware of where computer software is developing AI tools. They are using, they're developing AI agents. As an example, they're developing specific functionality in an AI agent, an artificial intelligent agent. And on the mass market, everyone and his brother and sister are producing AI tools every day. Thousands and thousands and thousands every day are being created. The reason is the life cycle has been reduced from 6 months to 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. So everyone can create whatever they want in software with voice input or with typing natural language. And so it's almost like being able to build a Ferrari in your garage in 1 day. Everyone would be driving a Ferrari. Everyone would wake up tomorrow, I'm creating my Ferrari. I will be driving a Ferrari by the end of the day. Everyone would have a Ferrari or, their favorite car. Okay. So when it becomes very easy, when the life cycle drops to a day or 2 or 3, then there are going to be on the mass market in the open ecosystem, and I mean like outside of any company, right? I mean the mass market where anyone can produce an AI tool and make it available to anyone else. There's just hyper competition, okay? And here's why. Let's say you create a very unusual AI tool that no one else has thought of, okay? It took you 3 days to make. 3 days from now, there will be many others just like it. If yours was a great idea, it will go viral and it will be copied incessantly all over the world in 3 days or less. So it's a hyper competition when the life cycle of software development drops to a day or so. Anyone who wants to create a useful software tool can now do so in a matter of hours or days instead of months. So artificial intelligence tools are too easy to make if you want to make money. Because even if you have a killer idea that, maybe 5 years ago people would have paid big money for in the form of a software as a service product, now if you create it, the barriers to entry are almost non-existent. The barrier to entry is use this process. Voice input, describe the tool. It's going to be a copy of this other tool I saw online that's really cool, and I want my tool to do the exact same thing. Code generation, voice input to fix bugs, repeat 2 and 3 until you have an exact copy of a tool that maybe the maker could have charged $20,000 a year for, in monthly SaaS payments, software as a service, subscription payments. Now, with this hyper competition, the SaaS model is kind of gone. As artificial intelligence and the ability to create AI agents, which are like standalone software programs, as that becomes easier and taking less time, the SaaS market, the software as a service market, there's no, there used to be, if you built a really good program and it took 6 months to a year, then if you announced it and started selling it and it took off, it would take other companies a year to catch up. And by then you're 2 years into the project and yours is a year better. So it would be impossible to catch up. Now, when AI agents and even complex ones can be created in a matter of days, you can be caught in the race very quickly and very easy and surpassed. And I want to say something that software companies used to be able to rely on. The more features that get added to a traditional program, like let's use a concrete example, Microsoft Excel. Okay, when it first came out, it did not have nearly the features, the bells and whistles that it has now. Not even close, but it took off. As Microsoft went along, they kept adding features and they added the complexity to learn how to use the new tools. That creates a lock-in phenomena because when you have an office building filled with small companies that are using Excel, the time investment to learn how to use that program, they're not going to give it up to try something new. Those are called switching costs, the cost to switch from Excel to a new spreadsheet. It's not worth it. Excel is working fine. Why switch? But if you can create an exact copy of Excel that's just as easy to use and has more features, and the new features are even easier to use. In other words, if you say to yourself, I'm going to eliminate all the lock-in, I'm going to stop adding complexity on how to get the most out of the features of the program, it will be easy to use for anyone. All features of the program will be easy to use for anyone. Then the companies like Microsoft, they lose their edge. They can no longer create switching costs that prevent people from trying a competing product. So when the life cycle of the software development reduces to a day or 2 or 3 days, you can no longer lock people into your product. Because somebody can look at the feature set, what the product does, and create an identical copy and put it in the market a few days later. So you're no longer able to get a year or two ahead of everybody else because AI tools are too easy to make. Okay, so that was approach number 1 to creating AI tools. The open ecosystem. Anyone can create any AI tool and give it to anyone else. The mass market, hyper competitive, hard to get an advantage, hard to get an unfair advantage. But the other approach, this is where the money is a little more promising. Enterprise artificial intelligence. Okay, in an open ecosystem, everyone on the planet is adding to the tools. Anyone can create an AI tool, and it can be, within a few days, and it can go viral and be accepted and adopted by the rest of the world until 3 days later when the next version of a similar version of that product comes out that's better. That's the open ecosystem. Inside a company, though, that's a closed ecosystem. When someone creates an AI tool inside a single company, an enterprise, a few things happen. Number 1, people cannot come into the enterprise with thousands of new AI tools to try to compete with that enterprise's AI tools. So here's an example, a concrete example. This is a closed ecosystem, a single company, not the mass market. When AI tools get created inside a closed ecosystem, a single company, then they're not exposed to all this competition, this hyper competition. So here's a concrete example, an auto manufacturer. The auto manufacturer's software team or operations team decides to create AI tools, agents, that are built for internal company use only. Closed ecosystem, internal company use only. Not competing with the thousands and thousands of other AI tools on the mass market. AI tools created in-house, for use in-house. So here's what that does for the company. Here's why this is such a compelling idea for enterprises. The enterprise right now, they're paying, let's see here, what did I calculate? So I looked, let's see here. Yeah. So here's an example, Salesforce. Salesforce Unlimited. Salesforce Unlimited is a tool. It costs $330 per user per month. If you have if you have 100 users inside your company of the Salesforce Unlimited tool, that's 330 times 100. That's $33,000 a month for your 100 employees. If your people say, we need Salesforce, your operations people will say, we're going to buy 100 subscriptions, monthly subscriptions for, software as a service from Salesforce, the Salesforce Unlimited tool, $330 per user per head a month times 100 users in the company, $33,000 a month. Okay, over the course of a year, that's almost $400,000. That's $396,000 annually being paid to Salesforce. With this approach, the cost is zero. You eliminate the software as a service fees, which is a good thing, because a lot of these software as a service vendors, they sort of rely on people not noticing the charge on their credit card, because they usually set this up to be automatic withdrawals from the company's account or a credit account or credit card. And then even if people are not using that tool, they're still paying for it, but they don't notice it because they're not taking specific action monthly to create the payment to Salesforce. It's automatically coming out of their bank account or their credit card. So that's bad. $400,000 a year for 100 employees. If you can reduce that to zero with this approach, here's how it works. You give voice input, you describe the tool. I want a tool that operates exactly the same as Salesforce Unlimited. And there are AI tools right now where you can upload the program and the AI will reverse engineer it. So that it would really cut down on the cycling here between steps 2 and 3. Voice input, describe the tool, upload the actual product, let the AI figure it out, the large language model specifically. Code generation, then voice input to fix issues, iterate on steps 2 and 3, until you have an exact copy of Salesforce Unlimited. And you might think, isn't there a copyright problem? No, because this is for internal company use only. We're not selling this in the open market. If Salesforce tried to say, you can't use a copy of our tool in-house, you would come back and say, yes, we can. We created this in-house. We're not selling it. We're not competing with you. We are using this as a tool inside our company. So the moneymaker for this approach is you go to a company and say, I can eliminate all your software as a service monthly subscription fees, and here's how. I will create AI tools that are close enough to the maybe you ask the company, what are the most important features you need to use in Salesforce Unlimited? Let me create an AI agent that has those, and pay me whatever your fee is to create that. And then you can tell Salesforce to leave. You can kick Salesforce out of the company. So the lifespan of a tool built in-house, it's not subject to the vendor. Salesforce can no longer come along and say, we have upgraded your tools and we will stop supporting the previous version, and your copy will stop working on such and such a day because we're no longer supporting it. That's what software companies do to keep their gravy train going, by taking money. Because when you think about it, most of the upgrades to software, do we all use all the new features all the time? No. Some of them are good. Some of them are welcome changes. A lot of them are, we don't need it. It's like the old days when you bought a cable TV subscription. You got all these channels you never watched, like the Food Network, the knitting channel, but you had to accept them because they were part of the package. So you go to a company and you say, here's how to eliminate your $400,000 a year Salesforce subscription expense. I will help you create an in-house AI tool that is a reasonable facsimile to the Salesforce product, and you will not be selling it on the open market. It's internal use only, so you're not competing with Salesforce. There's no copyright violation. You'd have to check with the legal department to make sure you do everything correctly. So if push came to shove, you could prove, hey, we're not selling this on the open market, and all the other things you'd have to make, all the dot your I's and cross your T's. So with the legal department in your company. So the lifespan of in-house internal use only AI tools is not subjected to, you're not subjected to the vendor telling you we're no longer supporting that tool you bought from us that you paid $400,000 for last year. We're no longer supporting it in 6 months, and all that money you spent, you're going to have to spend it again on a new tool. It's gotten ridiculous with software as a service subscription fees. It's really gotten over the top. Okay, so again, the benefit is write once, and then the company decides how long do we want to keep this AI tool. It's our decision. We can no longer be forced to upgrade. And if we do want to change, we can install the change in a day or two, because AI tools are easy to make, right? So if you do need to change something, you have maybe one or two in-house AI people. You have one primary person, and then you have a backup person so that if the first person goes on vacation. So you have a staff of 2 for your AI development. Okay. So again, the open AI ecosystem is the mass market. It's too easy to create AI tools. There's too many new ones being created every day. It's hard to get an unfair advantage if you're trying to create AI tools for a mass market, because if you create an AI tool and it takes off and goes viral, in 3 days, I will put a copy of that available to the mass market that's an exact copy of yours, and I can make it easier to use. I can see what your program does. I can see the gotchas that people stumble on, and I can improve those and put a competitor out on the market in 3 days. It's very difficult to get an unfair advantage. AI tools, also, the good thing about AI tools in general, in both cases, if you're trying to sell a mass market AI tool, open ecosystem, or if you're creating an in-house AI tool, these cannot be captured by a single company. Like, think about Apple's, walled garden. All their stuff is proprietary to their company. They don't even work with Android phones very well, right? They try to make as much money as possible by saying, if you want Apple, you have to come inside our walled garden, and all the stuff we sell is inside, but you can't really go outside. And you can't do that with artificial intelligence, because if you create an AI agent that uses natural language processing, like it needs to have access to a large language model, you can incorporate whatever large language model is available. And if there are any differences, it can take a day or two to make changes. There's no longer, the full life cycle of software development is no longer 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. It's 1, 2, or 3 days. So this is one of the cool things I like. You can no longer have software that you create captured by a single vendor. Here's something that Microsoft does, or has done in the past. When the Netscape browser came out, Mark Andreessen and Jim Clark, I think, started that company in the 1990s. It was the best browser around. And then Microsoft started putting things in Windows that would create problems or bugs for Netscape. They would try to disable Netscape because they introduced their own Internet Explorer browser. So Microsoft has had this idea that, okay, it's our operating system. If someone writes a software product that's like one of ours, we're going to cripple that competitor because it's our operating system and we're trying to sell Excel. So if someone creates an Excel copy, when it runs on Windows, we're going to cripple it in various ways. We're going to make it seem unstable to the user, as an example, right? So that's no longer possible with AI tools, especially if you're creating internal company AI products. Because the one extra thing that is coming that you can do at some point in the future is you can set things up so that your internal company use only AI agents are running on a closed LLM inside your 4 walls, inside your company, so that you no longer have to rely on one of the big LLM vendors like OpenAI or Grok or Gemini from Google or any of the other umpteenth LLMs that are out there. Eventually, we're getting to the point where there will be an in-house AI LLM system, and it will not be connected to the internet. It will be distributed to the employees in the company by local area network protocols and by wide area network protocols, but it will never be connected to the internet. And the connection to the phones, to mobile devices, is yet to be determined. But so this is just 2 ways to create AI tools. You can spin your wheels and create really cool products that get copied 3 days later by somebody else, or maybe 10 or 100 other people. Or you can say, I'm going to try to make my fortune in artificial intelligence by targeting enterprises. I'm going to become an enterprise artificial intelligence expert. I'm going to sell to enterprises instead of the mass market, because the mass market, it's too easy to copy you. Even if you come up with the world's best AI system, AI agent, if it's in the open mass market, I'm going to copy it in a day or 2 or 3. And then the advantage is gone. So try selling that. You can't really sign people up to pay any money for that because they say, well, this is so good. I know there's going to be 100 other ones in a few days. So I'm not going to pay you for it, right? So it's a really tough market. This is where the money, I think, is going to be, or is happening right now, is in-house artificial intelligence agents. Because, companies like the idea that the AI tools are fully in their control for their employees, doing the things that their company, like an auto company, needs. Tools that are built in-house specifically for that company, custom tailored to what that company needs. And they don't have to contact Salesforce to buy something. They can build it in-house. You can hire one or two AI people. You can tell them, please create an AI tool that's a close clone of Salesforce Unlimited. And bam, day or two or three later, you have it, and you can use it in-house. As long as you don't try to sell it to the open market, I don't think they can get you on copyright claims. So if you have any questions about this, I'd be willing to answer any questions you have. There's a bright future on this side of the board. This side of the board, competing in the open market, the mass market, I see a lot of dead bodies there. Again, if you create something really cool for this enterprise, you can develop a reputation and get jobs at other companies, large companies. Here, you can try to do the same, but really what this is doing, this short life cycle, it's turning everyone into a genius software developer, because you can create fully featured, really useful software in a day or two or three. That's genius level work only a few years ago. Now, anyone can do it. So that's kind of a hard road to travel if you're trying to make money. I'm sure that's possible. I'm sure there's ways to do it that I'm not discussing here, but I think this is a better choice. So if you have any questions, please post in the comments. I really want to thank everyone for watching, and have a great day.